If there were a way to shave 5 or 10 years off of your mortgage, would you be curious to find out more? It's actually not some amazingly guarded secret, as there are already more than 1.9 million Australians primed to take advantage of it. The reason it seems hidden to everyone else is that it involves a bit of additional knowledge and financial education, and possibly even stepping outside of your current comfort zone. But wouldn't it be worth it? Imagine if you could really pay off your mortgage much faster without having any impact on your household cash flow. That would be worth a bit of education, right? Unfortunately though, not everyone is in a position to take advantage of this strategy. Let's see how you're placed. We'll start with 4 simple questions. How long ago did you buy your home? What did you pay for it back then? What is it worth now? What is the current mortgage amount? Keep these figures in mind or write them down as we now go through an example. Let's take the current value of the home of $800,000 and multiply it by 0.8, which equals $640,000. Now subtract the $300,000 current mortgage, and the remaining $340,000 is the available equity in the home. Have you done the calculations with your figures? If the amount left over is more than $120,000, you might be in a good position to take some action on this strategy. If you have owned your home for more than 10 years, there is a good chance that you have had some reasonable capital growth. In fact, over the last 150 years in Australia, on average, property values have doubled every 10 years or better. But how can you use that growth statistic to your advantage? And what does that have to do with paying off your mortgage faster? Well, what if it were possible to own another property without using any of your savings for a deposit, and without it affecting any of your monthly cash flow to own it? It might sound a little far-fetched, but if that were possible, then in 7 to 10 years' time, when it has had some good capital growth, you could sell it if you wished and use the profit to help pay down your mortgage. So imagine if you bought a $500,000 investment property tomorrow. It wouldn't be too hard to believe that in 10 years that property would be worth $800,000. Of course, you would have to make sure you bought the right property in the right location and didn't pay too much for it in the first place. If you then sell it, you would likely have at least a couple of $100,000 in profit to pay down, or off, your home mortgage. In order to be able to seriously consider this, you first need to make sure you understand a few things. How can you afford to buy a property without having a cash deposit? How can you afford to own a property without it impacting your cash flow? Then you need to make sure you research and choose a property that is going to have solid capital growth over the next 7 to 10 years. To make sure of that, you will need to know what to buy and where to buy it, how to make sure you never overpay for a property. The good news is that each one of those 4 lessons are available in our video center and will take about as long as this one to obtain the knowledge.